my main question, the why I want to be in the Philippines, why I want to get the naturalized, was very simple. Since I came here, I feel good. Since the second year, like I told to you, when I have to travel to Spain many times because my father died, was very hard. But after that, in all of these 5 years, I feel at home.
Football Friday on Across the Line, and we've got a great one today. I called him a Philippine football legend of Spanish descent. He is Bienvenido Maranon. He holds the record for most goals scored in the AFC Cup. He's played almost 6 years now, or he is on his 6th year playing here in the Philippines. He's kind of a legend and spectacular, being able to really dive deep in who he is outside of just the persona that we see on the pitch, Chris.
Yeah, the scourge of so many Kaya fans over the years. It was difficult to even put the message together to invite him on the show. But I think with everything that's been going on in the pandemic and with the lack of games, it was actually a great time to get him on the show. He's been such a formidable opponent over the last 4 or 5 years, and to see all of the achievements and the accolades that he's acquired in that period, I think it's really great to get him on the show and have him speak about everything in his own words. And what I think coming away from this interview, I think a lot of the Philippine football public will be really endeared to him as an individual, not just as a footballer. Speaks glowingly about his time here in the Philippines, how he loves to visit the islands, and how he and his girlfriend have visited so many different parts of the Philippines. And I think it's actually a really heartwarming story of someone, not just as a great footballer, but as someone who really has fallen in love with the Philippines, which is obviously why he's so keen on getting his citizenship, which is something that we touch upon in this episode.
Yeah, 100%. You know, that has been a source of debate for a lot of individuals regarding the positive and negatives of having somebody like Bienvenido Maranon come in and become part of the national team. And, you know, he makes a great case for, you know, his dream and his desire to play for the national team. And, you know, as you said, it's an opportunity to get to know him, and it is an opportunity to be endeared to Bienvenido Maranon. As you know, Chris, it's not easy for individuals who are part of Kaya to get some sympathy for Bienvenido, given the amount of heartbreak he's placed on us. But amazing conversation. As you said, you really get an insight into who he is as a person, and particularly that story of how he turned things around a little bit in his career here in the Philippines, how he made it from being okay to being spectacular. It's pretty surprising what he did in order to get there. And I think a lot of people will be quite shocked by that. I certainly was in this part of that conversation. So many nuggets in this one, and a great way to really get to know Bienvenido Maranon. If you like this conversation, please do subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube. And look for us on social media. We're on Facebook, not on Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. There you have it. All right, this is Football Friday. Today we've got Bienve Maranon. Today on the show, we've got a Philippine football legend from Spain on the show. That's something we don't get to say too often. Bienvenido Maranon is joining us. How's it going, Bienve?
Hello, guys. Thank you for inviting me here. I'm doing good. Now I'm happy because we are training. We started training, and that made me happy. So hopefully soon we can start the league and everything is fine.
It's good to see you feeling good about yourself and the league starting. Unfortunately, unable to add to your plethora of goals in the AFC Cup. You've got 35. You've got the most goals scored of anyone in the competition. Unfortunately, you can't add to that this year.
Yeah, this was good before. I have the lucky to score many goals. But for me, the most important was how reach the goals, how we play, the people remember Ceres as a team. So for me, that is more happy than I score many goals. For me, I think Ceres now have a name in Asia, but for a player like me that is a foreigner, it's difficult to come here, and it's difficult to keep here many years. For me, even I prefer that the people is focused on the team than just in me.
And Chris, of course, you know Bienve here, a lot of experience. You played alongside him, coached against him. And finally, we've got him here on the show.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I played against him would have been the cup final that we won. That was the last time I actually played against him. I had to get that in. I got sent off in that game. I don't know if you remember. One of them was a yellow card for a foul on him. So that was a good memory for me. But I have lots of bad memories of him as a coach. He had a tendency to score goals against us. So I'm happy just to have a conversation with him now, because normally it's pulling my hair out, having to deal with especially his movement inside the box. He's known for his goals. So yeah, it's nice just to sit down and have a conversation with him, rather than worrying about him scoring goals against me.
Now, Bienve, you know, we know you as the goal scorer, extremely dangerous in domestically and in Asia, but you know, we don't know too much about you and your background and how you got started, how you got here to the Philippines. So do you mind taking us way back to the beginning of your career? How did you get started with football?
I play football since early age. I used to play in the street, like here in the Philippines. I use the people to play basketball here in early age. I played football in Spain in early age. So I start with 4, 5, 6 years. I start to play until everything comes to professional. At the beginning, I take it like for fun, for enjoy with my friends. But then little by little, I was playing better and better and better until I have the chance to play for professional football. At the beginning, I played with my friend, with the local club. And then when Real Betis Balompié, who play now in La Liga, they called me to play in the youth there. Then, with 16 years old, was when I feel like football can give me something else than just play for fun. That can afford money, I can get money, I can get more fun, I can get a different family that I have in my own. So that time was so difficult at the same time, because I have to leave my house. I have to move to Sevilla. Was a very, very hard for me, because in 16 years old, I didn't move from my house. So I have to move. I don't know the people. It's a different team. All the players who play there are very good. So you have to compete against them at the same time with them. So that was the time that changed my mind. I take this one like a professional. After that, I play in Cadiz, in the team of my city, but I have lucky to play there until I play in third division and also in La Liga too. So after that, I feel like a real professional. Mm-hmm. Just my life have to be focused in football. I don't have to take care of anything else. No study, don't work, just football and football. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I have a big problem with Cadiz in my second year. After I play in La Liga 2, they release me. They want to kick me out because they changed the staff. They changed the president of the club, and they don't want to count with me. So after that was a very hard moment. I want to leave football. I don't want to play football anymore, because, you know, you are playing La Liga 2, you are in your city, all the people is looking at you, you are doing good. In 1 month, they kick you out. So that time was very hard for me, but because my family, I keep playing, I have the lucky to play more times. I play around Spain, playing in La Liga 3 and in second B. That is a really good league also there, until I got the call from Philippines. My friend Carly, who played with me in Cadiz, is the guy who called me to come here. And then in 2015, I moved here, and everything was going really, really good.
Can I take you back to the beginning a little bit more, Bienve? So you didn't start your career at Cadiz. So when you said that you, as a young child, you were picked up by Real Betis, is that correct?
Yeah.
So how old were you when you joined their academy?
Was very hard, because I used to play in the team of my city, who called mm-hmm. La Salle. It's the team of my city there in Cadiz. You know, you play again, you play competition, you play everything, but it's like for fun, mm-hmm. with your friend. in your city with your family. And then when Real Betis called me, was like, what a change to go there and compete with the best player of the city, of my city, of the another city, and the people who they have to choose. So when I went there, my first training was very, very, very hard because I don't know any single player. The coach in that time was very strict. Was very difficult. Also, the house where I live with 5 more players. I don't know any of them. They was very shy like me at the beginning. So everything became difficult. But you know,
and how old are you? How old are you at this point?
16 year old.
16. Okay.
16 year old.
So at this point, you have to leave home. You're living in with other players.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just changed all my life. I was in Cadiz, in my city, just living with my parents, playing with my friends, and then I have to move to Sevilla. It's 2 hours away from Cadiz, but I cannot go and back all the time. So I have to live in Sevilla. They want the players to live there. They give you academy, they give you the school, and they give to you everything. So you don't have to spend money. They give to you everything, but you have to suffer a little bit because at the beginning, you know, the first time that you leave your house, it's very, very difficult, especially before. Right now, it's easier to travel around because you know how's the world right now. It's better to travel than stay, but this was like almost 10 years ago. You imagine 10 years ago how was everything? But for me, it was very hard. But at the same time, I think I become professional in football because of what I suffered there. Because after that experience, then I live again in Spain, my city. Even I live in Spain, and everything became easier. So that was the first time that I live. I suffered a little bit, but then the next time that I live, like when I live to Madrid, to Murcia, now to Philippine, everything became easy. The first time is difficult, but the second and the third is okay.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's really interesting about your story and some of the stories of the other players that we've spoken to on this podcast is a lot of those experiences that at the time seem very difficult are often the experiences that make you the man that you become. You know, like we was talking to so many of the players who had very difficult experiences growing up, but it's actually those experiences that turn you into a better player. So you know, I can understand exactly where you're coming from. There's a lot of people who have come on the podcast have said similar things. But one thing I want to ask you about is you said that you had a coach that was very strict. And, you know, we've had a few Spanish players that have come here. Obviously, we see a lot of Spanish players in La Liga, but in the Premier League as well, which is what the league that a lot of people watch here in the Philippines and around the world. What was it like growing up in that Spanish system? Like, there is an idea, obviously, of how the Spanish game is played based on the images that you see from the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid, and obviously the Spanish national team. But what was your experience like growing up in the system, growing up in Spain?
For me, there is right now there is a big change. Before, when I was playing that time in Real Betis, in Cadiz, now Cadiz is in La Liga also. I was playing the youth. When you play in this kind of club, they are totally different than you play in your city. They are totally professional. But in that time, I have the lucky that was before football changed. In that time, when I went to Sevilla, for example, to Real Betis, I started to play with them, but the coach was very strict, but he's more focused to complain, to give you work hard, just work hard and forget the quality. I was playing there with them, and the first 4 games, I scored almost 8 goals. It's almost two goals for games. And I didn't start any single game. So during that time, I was thinking about what happened here. Normally, if you score goals, you play good, you have to play, no, in the lineup. But in that time, it's more for the agents, for the people who know the coach. It's more for friendly. You play, depend how friendly you are with the coach. And in that time, I have the lucky of this. But then I suffer also the change that if you have quality, you can play. So when I transferred to Cadiz, I was playing good. I was playing the first 11. So I suffer all of these things. We have to be careful in football. Depend where you go. You play for friendly because your parent or your agent is afraid of the coach. And now you play for quality. So I suffered that too. And that make the people be sad sometimes because, you know, there's many, many good players that sometimes are lucky to don't play. But they don't have to give up. They have to come another or look for another opportunity like I did in that time. And I have the lucky that I was a success. But in that time, it's hard. It's hard because, you know, right now I think around the world, football is different. Depend how your behavior, how you play, how you train, you play. It's not like before. So we have lucky right now to play in that time.
That's quite an interesting perspective. You wouldn't have thought, even at the age of 16, that it matters more about the relationship that you have with the coach than actually the performances on the pitch. But even at that level, it happens, because obviously it happens in, you know, schoolboy football or youth football. It happens a lot. But you think hopefully when you get to the professional level, those things don't happen. But of course, you know, you are someone who experienced it. But what about from the kind of the training side? You know, I'm always really interested in terms of the style. Like, you know, how does it compare, do you think? I mean, obviously, when you're here, you see people from loads of different countries. You have the German guys, you have English guys. You've seen people who've had training and background from all manner of different countries. What was it, do you think, about the Spanish system that allowed to produce so many really technical players? I mean, just look at the players who we've had in this country, yourself, Rufus Sanchez, for example, even Pablo Aracil, who was here for a while, maybe a bit before your time, all very technically gifted and also tactically very astute. So, you know, why do you think that is? And in particular, how did you develop that technical and technical base?
I will tell you about all of this, yeah, especially when I play in this professional club. The big change is that during the year, they have like 4 or 5 stages. The first one is just do the preseason and try to teach you technically and tactically. That is the most important. The first 2 months, they just work on this. They work everything with technique, all the time, every single day during 2 months. Then they have a change. They try to train more your condition. They have to try to pull you out, to work hard. And then the most important, I think, that they do is look for your position. Because many times I find a player who play beside me that I know that they are no striker, that just they want to play striker because they are very tall. But the coach there in the third stage is like the 4 months, they put you in your position. That is the best thing that I found in the club. How the coach know where you have to play, know where you want to play, if not where you can do the best for the team. So for me, that was what I more learned from there. They have a stage and they control everything. At the beginning, they control your technically, tactically, how you are, how you improve. They teach you everything. But in the third stage, when they have to put you in different positions, and you know, many times for me it was so funny because in Real Betis I was competing with one guy. He was 16-year-old. I was like this, and the guy was very tall. So he want to play striker because all the crosses he shoot. It's very easy for him because he was very tall. But the coach at the second or the third game, he changed to him to central defender because he knows in central defender he was very strong. The header he was very good. But as a striker, even when he shoot with the head, he don't have quality to kick the ball. He don't have quality to move. He don't know how to move. But the guy just want to play a striker because he's very tall and he can score goal because he had very, very easy. And that for me is the big difference that I found between Spain and where I live, especially when I talk with my friends who play also out or here in the Philippines. I saw many guys training, many guys playing good, but I think they are in wrong position. Here, you know, it's like when I play in my city, all the guys want to play a striker. There is nobody who want to play defense, but the coach have to know where they have to play. And the most important also is to convince the player If you change the position of him and he's sad, you have to convince him that he can play a professional play in different positions that he used to play from early age. So the most important, if I have to tell you anything about the Spanish football, is that they control all the stage. During the year, they control every single month what they have to do, and they have like a program. Every single program they will follow. They don't leave the line. And then, depending on your age, they will teach you something or something different. But for me, the big change, for me, I told to you, where you have to play, how to teach you, first of all, of course, tactically, because without tactic, I think football is nothing. Technically, that most of the players who play for 5-6 years, they already have the quality, they have already something. But the most important is the position where you have to play, because everybody cannot play striker, everybody cannot play winger. Somebody have to play in different positions. And also you have to convince, you have to talk with the mind of the player. That is very, very important, because some of the players, when you tell them about you have to play, for example, in this case, the guy who plays striker, the name is Antonio from Sevilla. He was playing central back. The next season, he don't play anymore football. Why? Because he don't focus that he have to play there. He just want to play striker. Don't play striker. I play in my city. But the guy for me was very, very, very good to play central defender. The coach was very right, because the guy is very tall, he's strong. He don't have quality, but he have power. So, but you know, some guys, you have to work at the mind of them. You have to try to teach them and look for the best of them. But you know, when you are like 16, even 25 years old, and you have to change your position, it's hard. But you have to know how to do it. And that is very, very important.
So I'm interested now, were you always a winger, or were you changed to become a winger?
Normally, I play all my life striker.
Yeah.
But when I come to Philippines, the coach, Ali, insists me to put in the winger, because he don't want to change the striker in that time. I don't know why. For example, in the final that we lost against you, against Kaya, for me, is the time that I remember that we have to change something. In Ferres, in that time, I was playing winger. There is the striker was Nate, and the another striker was
the Korean
the
boy.
Korean guy, the number
Lee.
10, Lee. So normally, against you, we didn't control the game. Anytime that time, in that final, we didn't control the game. So I told to the coach, to Ali, please put me beside Manny Hot, because I think we can handle the midfielder. If we get the ball, maybe we can attack them for the middle, because normally all of you follow us one by one. So I say, give me the opportunity to play in the middle, because I'm more dangerous in the middle. In the right winger, I can play, but I used to go to the middle. So, but we need some winger open, especially against you, because you all the time go one by one. You stay in defense. It's so hard to attack you. So we need the winger and people inside with quality. But in that time, during most of the game, even in the extra time, I was talking with Ali, please put me there, because we have to control the game. But in that time, I get frustrated, because winger, you know, for me, it's very hard to play there, because I have no speed, long speed. I have a speed in short space, but in long. So I told to him, put the Japanese guy, that the guy have quality, can play there, and Patrick Rachel in another one. So we can attack for the middle, and when they cover the middle, we open to the side. And Nate is very tall. Maybe Nate can get some in front. But that time, after that time, we lost against you, and then I play all the time striker, a midfielder.
Yeah.
That's what the point that I changed my position here in the Philippines. Because I don't know why, but they put me here in winger. I don't know, because I was talking with Kali, I come here like a winger or striker. But he said, no, just follow them, because, you know, here in Philippines, sometimes they want to try something. I said, okay. But when this happened for already 3 months, I told to him, if I play striker, I can give my 100%. And maybe we can be success. If I play winger, even if I give my 100%, cannot be success, because I used to play striker. Or behind a striker or midfielder, there in the middle, because I like to control the ball. to keep the position, to attack, to go behind the line of the midfielder in front of the central defender to make them have doubts about me, where they have to get me. So that time was very hard when I play winger. And normally I play a striker, behind striker, and midfielder.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting. You know, when speaking about you and your style and what people perceive as the right body type or the right type of qualities for striker, you're not the immediate person that comes to mind. You know, you think of somebody big, strong. In your mind, Bienve, what are the qualities to become a very good striker, as is yourself? What do you think are the key qualities?
Now, I would like to tell you something that I think is nobody know that one. It's my secret that how I learned to play in the Philippines. I think nobody knows that, and maybe this can help to the people who come to the Philippines. My first season, I was here for 3 months. The first one, May 2015, I came here to the Philippines. And the first 3 months was like we won the league because already the league was almost finished. I played good, it was okay. But in the second season, I played not really good. We was winning game, I scored goals. I didn't score many goals. I didn't play really good. I wasn't happy with my play in that time. Also, I have the problem with my father. In that year, my father died. I was more focused in my father than in football. Then I have to travel many times to Spain, then come back. Then my style of play, I still play a bit of time winger. And then when I play striker, I don't feel strong. I don't feel how to play. And at that time, when I went to vacation in my second season here, I was thinking, what I have to do to learn to play in the Philippines, because it's totally different to Spain. In Spain, it's more to touch the ball from one side to another side to look for the chance. In Philippines, it's more physically. You have to find your space, but the Filipino used to run 90 minutes, so it's so difficult for you. And you have to cross them and then run and then defense and then attack. So I was asking myself, when I was in vacation, I was asking myself, what I have to do to improve? How I have to learn in the Philippines to play better, because I know that I can do much better. Even in that year, Global won the league. Even Ceres won the league. We have Stefan, all the players, Patrick, Manny, many really, really good players, but we didn't win the league. So in that time, I say, if I don't change my style of play, I have to come to Spain. I don't play anymore there because I'm suffering. Honestly, I was suffering. So in that time, I thinking, okay, I will check who is the players in the Philippines who is doing good. I will go to watch them. I will watch video of them, and depending how they play, I have to play. So the first time the first player that I saw was Phil Husband. I said, this guy is he's a crack. He's played for the national team. Everybody talk about him. He's played good. All the people is talking good about him. I say, okay, when I go to the Philippines, I will try to follow him. I will try to watch some video. I will go to the stadium to watch him. So he was playing with his brother. So I said, the brother husband, they have a big name here. Something good they do, not just as a model or something like this. They are very, very good players because they are doing very good with national team, with the team. So I will try to follow them. The another one was Miss Abajadora. I said, this guy, every time we go with the Ascar, he scored goal. Also, he won the league. I said, I have to learn from him because I'm a striker. All of them, they play in front. I have to try to get one thing of them. And the most important for me, my style of play is the similar, is Chifi Calidon. So I say, I have to play like Chifi because I small. I know like the husband. I'm not stronger like Misa, but I have to be smart like Chifi Calidon because he's not tall. He's very thin, but the guy score many goals. He play very smart. He play very good every single time he play. So I say, okay, I will try. Then my first year, the next month, I came to Philippines. I say, okay, I watch some game of them, but I say, I will go to the stadium towards them. When we don't play, I will try to go to the stadium. So my first year, I was living alone, and many people was asking me, Bienve, where you go? I said, no, I stay here. But I went to Rizal towards them. I was in the stairs like this, 2 hours by a taxi, and just towards them. And not many people know me, just not like now. If I go to the stadium, the people ask me, hey, what are you doing here? In that time, the people know me because I play in thirds, but not too much. So I went there, I seen in the stand, not many people. You know how many people go to the stadium? Nobody in that time. I was there. And I learned from Phil husband how to play easy, how make football easy. You don't have to dribble, you don't have to do anything, just be smart and play easy football. From this guy, from his brother, James, how to control the ball, how to cover, open the ball and go to shoot. And I right now I'm doing that one, what I learned from them. From Misa, no matter how big is the defender, that you have to fight with him. No matter if the central defender is very tall, you have to find your space to fight against him, and try. Because Misa, if Misa have something good, is the guy don't get tired to try. Even if he's no success, he try. I say, I have to try. I have to get my condition better. I have to train physically. I have to go to the gym and fight. And we typically don't have to move in the middle of the lines, and how to move inside the box, how to find your space. So also how to place the 1-2 and move and try to find the space that you are alone. So all the time I was watching like 3-4 games, each of them. So all the time was in the stare, oh my God, what I'm doing here. Maybe if this one don't work for me, I'm learning from them, and then I go to play. I don't do anything of them. I go to Spain. But then in my training, I was trying to do everything I learned from them. And then in that time, we won the league. I played better. I scored many goals in AFC. The next season, the last season, also I played really good. We won the league again. So everything became better. So if I have to say my secret of how to play in Philippines, is how to follow these guys. Who's the best guy in that time? In that time for me, the best guy was them. And I learned from them. I have the lucky, for me, everything was very good. I don't know if to another player will be good, but I think if they follow what I did in the past, they will be success here. Because for me, because of them, I'm the player that I'm right now. I have lucky to do it. I suffer a lot because it's very hard to travel 2 hours with traffic. Because in that time, the people play Friday. So I say, well, Friday, I go there 2 hours by a taxi. I have to pay the taxi 2 hours. I say, okay, I have to go. If not, I go to Spain. I have nothing to lose. I have to be in my house, just boring. I go there. Was like 2 hours there. See the game, and then to come here was not too much traffic, but 1 hour, 1.5. So in that time, right now, I think I have lucky to do that. But in that time, I suffer a lot. But for me, right now, they give me the opportunity to get money, to get player better, to be a better player and a better person, and everything. Because then I learned. So nobody so far know that. But I want to tell you because maybe this one can help to somebody who come here, especially to Ceres. There's many players who come here to play with Ceres, and they won success. Like Mahir, the striker, Bello, one winger from Spain, the Australian guy,
Blake Powell, yeah.
So why they are not success? Because I think they don't know how to play in different countries.
You know what I think, Bienve? You know what I think? I'll let you try and deal with that fly that keeps coming out and attacking you also. What I think about this is something that I spoke about with other people, is that there's a lot of foreign guys who have come to the Philippines with very high pedigree, probably a better background than, say, even someone like yourself, played at a higher level, had more experience, played with better teams, whatever that might be. And they think they're going to come to the Philippines and it's going to be easy. It's going to be easy because it's a low level, or, you know, these guys are all small. And you know what? Compared to the Premier League or La Liga, yes, it is a low level. But you still have to come here and you have to perform. And the game is different. You're exactly right. The game is different. And what I think, and I never knew this story, so I appreciate you sharing this. The thing that separates you from a lot of those guys, Bienve, is I think you had the humility to realize that you probably weren't as good as you thought you were. And that you had the awareness to then say, right, I need to learn from these guys who probably on paper didn't have a career as good as you. So why, you know, I think a lot of people say, well, I don't have to learn from Misak Bahadoran. You know, he's only playing here in the Philippines, but you realize that. And I think you're right. And, you know, I mean, you even named some players there. I think so many people come here, think it's going to be easy, and then realize, oh, actually, it's a different game. Now, I either adapt and survive, or I don't, and I have to go. And I think that the majority of the people have gone that way. And that's why I think people like yourself have had really unbelievable careers here in the Philippines. And those who have not been willing to adapt, they're the ones who've had to go elsewhere, or those are the ones that simply aren't playing anymore. So, Jing, I don't think you really meant to get that kind of answer, but what an answer. Really, really incredible backstory.
Really
100%,
refreshing.
I agree with you. 100% I agree with you, because every single player who come here, they think like if they play in their country, it's very easy to play in Philippines. Very agree with you.
Yeah, and that's what you expect as well. I mean, a lot of the Filipino fans, that's what their perception of international players is just like that. They come here and they're supposed to be the finished product. They're supposed to uplift the game. But you listing down Phil Younghusband, James Younghusband, Misak Bahadoran, and the legend himself, Chifi Caligdong, to learn from them. I mean, not many would predict that somebody like Bienve would be learning from individuals like that. So, yeah, definitely something that has come as quite a surprise, you know, and perhaps one of the reasons why people like you so much. People gravitate towards you, and not only because of your accomplishments, but what you bring to the Philippine football game, you know. And did you see this transpiring? Well, probably not, no, because you said that, you know, you were just trying to make it here in the Philippines. Now that you've achieved everything that you have achieved, do you look back and are you surprised at what has transpired in your career? Or is this exactly what you were hoping for, to win all these titles, to break these scoring records, and to have the sort of status that you enjoy today?
Yeah, as I told before, for me, and like Chris said before, maybe my first year and 3 months, that my first one that I stay here, maybe I was wrong. I was thinking like he said, no, I play in the Philippines. It's very easy to play. Because I was thinking like this, the same. Like he said with another player, I was thinking myself like this one. But that time when I suffered here, and I was thinking about it's not right. So I have to change my mind. I have to change everything. I have to get used to playing the country different than mine. So I was thinking that time, but I have the lucky to change in the right time. So right now, I'm very lucky to could I be able to do that and be successful now, because like I told to you, you suffer a lot when you have to do that, because I was like 2 months go to watching the game with the traffic, with everything. But then if you don't do it, you have to go home. Also, there is like 1 month ago, somebody gave me a question. The lady was asking me, is a journalist, she asked me how to tell the guys right now, learn from Paulino Alcantara. That is a legend, is everything. I say, for me, it's very wrong if the guy who start to play football right now, they look at Paulino Alcantara. Even me, I don't know who is Paulino Alcantara. He was playing in Spain. He's Filipino. It's okay. We have to respect him because he was a legend before. But the guys who start to play football right now have to look at the national team and have to watch the player who play there, or have to try to watch the league and learn from the player who play right now there. That is the right way to learn in the Philippines, not to look for another guy When you watch video of him, it's like black and white. You cannot see videos like right now. So for me, it's very wrong that many journalists insisting to tell the Filipino learn from Paulino Alcantara. No, we have to learn from the people who's playing right now, because it's the guy who you can learn from them what they do every single game. You can watch them how they train. So that is the time to learn from the guy who is playing right now. If you want to learn from the people who play in the past, you have to watch the video. It's not the same. You have to go to the game. You have to go to the training. And like this is the only way to learn. For me, this is my thinking. I don't know if I'm wrong, but for me, it's my thinking. I think is the thinking that the Filipino who start playing, they have to do.
When you look at the landscape right now, the players that are playing in the PFL, of course, there's going to be the ASCAS development team that's joining this season. Who excites you when you look at the players around you in the league right now? Are there players that you look at and like, wow, that could be interesting to see down the road or in the future?
Right now, there is. I cannot say what, because it's already long time without play the league. Especially the last season when we play the last game, we play the cup. There's many interesting players in the under 23. In the under 23, there is interested player. There is a left winger who I think is coming from out, Yannick or something like this. I don't know what is the name, but the guy is very quick, is very fast, have quality. That guy is very interesting. And also they have a central defender at that time that for me was very hard to play against him. He's Filipino. I don't know what is the name, but was very hard to play against them. And also one of the players that I all the time say that the people have to learn from him, because he's already long time playing. Every single season he play good. Is what is the name? The guy from Stallion, the captain.
Alquiros? Nathan Alquiros?
You say...
Belot. Ruben Doctora.
Oh, Ruben Doctora, that's right.
For me, that is a legend here. Because the guy, every single year he play good. He tried to teach the teammates. He arranged them to play hard. He's a guy that the Filipino also have to learn. From me, he is an example how is the Filipino player. Also, it's very good. I don't know. Now maybe it's not the time to play with Oscar, but for sure in the past he was playing with them. I don't know, but the guy who the Filipino, for me also they have to look at him, because not only how he play, is how he teach the teammates to play. When he is inside the pitch, he is like he spread the competition. He spread everything to the player. He spread how to fight, how to do, and you can feel. When you play against Stallion, when he is in the field and when he is not in the field, you can feel right away. I like it. I like him. I fight many times with him inside the pitch, but it's football. For me, I'm a different person when I play a game than when I stay out. When I stay out, it's your life. You're a normal person, but when you stay inside the pitch, it's totally different.
You know what's really interesting about this, Jing?
Chris? Oh, looks like we lost Chris there. I'll wait for him to come back. I wanted to ask you, Bienve, you've been here now, what, 5 years in the country? I think this would be...
More than 5. It's
more than 5 years, almost 6 years. Yeah, almost 6 years. You feel like home for you now, the Philippines?
Yeah, I feel at home. That's why I didn't leave Philippines. I have many offers to go. I can get more money. I can get more chance to sign for more years. You can imagine how many offers I got. But I don't want to live here. Well, many people asking me why I don't live. And it's very easy to tell them. I feel in the Philippines as home. I feel very quiet. My life here is very quiet, it's very calm. My family is very happy here. I would like to invest here my money. I would like to live between Philippines and Spain, because I feel very, very happy and very good here. And now I have a goal that maybe if come in the future can be the best thing for me. I'm waiting for that. So I don't have to leave. The time that I have to leave, if someday I have to leave, I will leave. But I think it's not the right time to leave. I still have to do something special here in the Philippines. Hopefully it's soon.
What do you envision? What are your plans?
My
That you
ambition is
foresee?
like many people know already. I don't have to hide anything. It's to play with Ascal. For me, after play here almost 6 years, after I get the chance to play with them, that because they talk to me about could be interesting if I play with them after I get the citizenship. So for me, that is my goal. There's no money can pay that I can play with the Ascar. There's no money. They can offer me whatever, but for me, if I can play before Ascal, there's no money to pay that. So this is my goal right now. I stay in the Philippines during this pandemic because the papers are ongoing. So I'm just waiting for the time to finish the process and have the lucky to play with Ascal. This is my dream. This is my goal right now, and I will try to reach this one because for me it's a dream. And I told to you, I feel at home if I can play with them. Can be the best thing for me ever.
Tell me a little bit about how this dream came about. When did that idea come into your mind that, wow, you know what? I want to play for the Ascals. When did that start?
It was like 2 years ago. When I was here for 4 years already, I had the chance to talk with some of the management, with some of them. They say there's an opportunity. If I stay in the country for 5 years, I can play with Ascal. So in that time was when I was thinking about, oh my God, if I can play with Ascal, I can play the World Cup qualification. I can play the Asian Cup, maybe the Suzuki Cup that I saw, and it's amazing. So in that time was my mind changed, because my mind before was, okay, when a good offer comes, I leave this football, I leave. But that time, I said, no, maybe the goal is not the money. It's about how you feel like a football player. Once you retire, you have to think where you play, how you play, for what team you play. So that time changed my mind. And right now it's already 2 years fighting for the citizenship. Honestly, from when I did 5 years, 1 year ago. So right now everything is ongoing. I'm very happy, and I feel like the people value what I did here, and the people is looking at me like example how to play or a good player to play with them. And it's not the same to play with the team than to play for the national team. So I have that goal in my mind, and I will try to come this way through, hopefully.
Chris is back. Bienve was just telling us about his ambition, the dream that has been planted in his mind to suit up for the national team. And as you know, the bill is right now on the Senate floor, and it's not too far away from being approved. So it could be something that we see not too long in the future, Chris. Bienve in an Ascos uniform.
I don't know if you listened to the episode, Bienve, but we actually covered it. We actually did a podcast about that particular announcement. So we were obviously aware that it was you and Robert Lopez Mendy who they were trying to get citizenship for. And Jing and I had the debate, and I'm going to be open and honest with you in a debate, because for me, initially, like, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it was something that we should be looking at. There's a couple of reasons why. One, I was pretty much the first, one of the first, and certainly this wave of Phil foreigners, as we're called, to come through. And when it was like 1 or 2, it was acceptable if it was 1 or 2. But then when it became 15, 20, 30, all half Filipino, half English, Spanish, whatever it might be, then I think it became a bit of an issue with some sections of the Philippine public. And my initial thinking was, I'm not sure if this is going to mean that a lot of the Philippine football public are now going to be even more against the system, because there's another opportunity for someone like Ruben Doctora to not play because we're going to naturalize another guy. But there was one thing that Jing actually said. There's one thing that Jing actually said that made me change my mind during the course of the interview. And what he said to me was, he said that who's to say that Robert Lopez Mendy isn't more Filipino than, say, some of these guys who are born and raised in Germany. They only come in for the game, then they go back to Germany, or they go back to France or Spain or America or whatever. And they only spend maybe 1 or 2 months of their lives here in the Philippines. Robert Lopez Mendy is married to a Filipina. He has a Filipina kid, right? And he spent more time in the Philippines, more than most of these other players, right?
Yeah.
And then hearing you speak, I don't know how you feel about this, Jing, but hearing him speak about the fact that, you know, he was really willing to integrate, really willing to go and immerse himself in the culture, go down to the games and not watch the next foreign player, but go and watch the local players, seeing what they brought to the table. Him articulating why it would mean so much to him to play for the national team. That, for me, speaks volumes of why they should at least be allowed the opportunity to play. Do you get what I'm saying here, Jing? Like, I think there's, for each person, it's a different motivation. And I think if your motivation is just for, to further your career, right? So there's some sections, for example, that you get a feeling that they get a passport so they can get that Asian citizenship, then they can go and play in another country, and it makes it easier. You know, no disrespect to you or Robert Lopez Mendy, but you're not 22 or 23. You know, it's not like you're not going to go and, you know, have another 10-year career outside of the country. The likelihood is you're probably going to be staying here for a long time. So I think it's really refreshing, Jing, and Bienve, while you're here, and you've explained yourself really well. I think you've really changed my mind, you know, as well as some of the things that Jing has said about how, I don't want to say how Filipino you are, because obviously you are Spanish, but how much you care and how much you love the country. I think that's really, really important. And I hope people who listen to this podcast, Bienve, get that feeling from you, because it certainly comes across with how passionately you speak, you know, about your love for being here in the Philippines.
Okay, I will tell you one of the questions. The first question that the senator give to you is many questions. They give you a paper that they make many questions, and most of them is why I want to get the citizenship, why I want to get this one, for what, what is my future thinking, what. I was honestly putting everything. If you are not right there, they won't approve you to go with them. That is very sure. And everything who you put there have to be sure 100%, and you have to be a truth from you. So I answered to them that my main question, the why I want to be in the Philippines, why I want to get the naturalized, was very simple. Since I came here, I feel good. Since the second year, like I told to you, when I have to travel to Spain many times because my father died, was very hard. But after that, in all of these 5 years, I feel at home. I feel like one more the Filipino. I'm living here. I don't have the hurry to go to Spain or even to spend the vacation. Right now, for me, it's very easy to go there because there's a pandemic. I go to Spain, it's very easy. For me, what I want to get the citizenship is because I would like to live here. I would like to invest my money here. I would like to get my business here. And I would like to help in football developed here in Philippines. Of course, I will go to Spain to visit my family, to visit my friends, but I would like to live here in the future. That don't mind that once I get the Filipino citizen, I will change my mind. I will go to play to Thailand. I will go to play to Malaysia, and then from there I go to Spain. Just come here, play with Ascal, the games that I need to play there, and go. No, for me that is very simple to do. I can cheat to everyone, but after 1 or 2 years, the people will say, "Bienve, you say something, and now it's not right. What happened with you?" So it's a mistake for me because maybe they can naturalize more people, more players in the future. So I'm honestly, what I told to you and what I told to the senator is very right. I want to be here because I like the country. I like to live here. No in BC. I would like to live in the Iceland, do my house and live with different kind of the of the atmosphere, because here is many business, many people who don't value the life. For me, the life more the nature. I would like to live here. My money is there to invest my money here, but I can invest the money because I'm not Filipino. I need 51% of the Filipino. I prefer to spend my money doing being a Filipino. Me, no, I put the money, but 51% of the business is from the Filipino. No, I want to get my business. I want to get my house, and I would like to let grow my family live here. My girlfriend went to Spain right now because she have to be there. She is very excited to get the naturalization, the citizenship, because she want to live here. She like to live here. It's no easy life for us, because right now it's easy because we have getting the salary for the team. It's a good life. But I would like to live in the future from my business, from the money from my business, from do something in the spot where I live, like a small farm, to get food for me, for my family, for the friends, to live with the Filipinos. Because for me, the Filipinos like the people who live in my city, in Cadiz, in Spain. They are very familiar. What they more like is not go to the party, just go to the bar. No, they like to do a barbecue with the family. All of this, they make me to love the country. Also, the culture of them is amazing. It's like the Cadiz. The Cadiz in my city is exactly the same culture that in here in the Philippines. They are very familiar and guys. Of course, the weather. The weather here you cannot compare with another one. In Spain, it's good also, but there's many months. It's winter. For me, I love the weather here. I can live all the time with this weather because I love. Just to play football sometimes is very hard because we have to play at 3. And with the sun there, it's very dangerous. At the same time, that it's very hard to play. But for me, I love this one. If you have any more question, I know, for example, I hear many guys who is complaining about my citizenship, but I understand. To everybody, you cannot lie. Everybody have their own thinking. I know if I get the naturalized, some of the guys don't like. Some of the guys, they will defend me. Another one, they like, they love to watch me play with Ascal. But to everybody, I cannot like. This is like the life. Sometimes when you do something, you cannot lie to everybody. I just want to explain why I want to live here, why I want to get the citizenship. If it's okay, I will do it. If it's not okay, I have to go to Spain. I have to live my life there. I will try to do the best for me, for my family. For me, I think right now is prepare the future in the Philippines. If I have the lucky to get the citizenship. If not, it's not up to me. If they don't allow me, if they don't approve the papers, it's okay. I will try to fight. I told you I will try to fight 100%, no, 1,000% to get this one because I love the country. I want to be here. But if not, it's not on me. Also, many people is asking me because I'm 34 years old. The people is asking, why you want to play with Oscar? You are already old. For me, football, you are not old. You can watch any sport. LeBron James in basketball, Cristiano Ronaldo, Sergio Ramos, Messi, Federer in tennis. Now the age is just a number. You don't have to look the age of the player. You have to look the condition, how you play every single year, how you training, how much pain you have after the training or when you wake up, how you feel mentalized, how you feel about all the conditions, not about the age. The age for me is a number. I want to play until 40 plus. If I have the chance and the injuries respect me, I will play. So for me, the age is just a number. I don't want to see the people just say, no, you are 34, why just can play 1-2 years with the Ascan? No. If I get the citizenship and I have the lucky to play with Ascan, I will try to play long time. I don't want to play just 1 year or 2 years. No. If I get this one, I will try to play as long as possible. The injuries suspend me. I physically, I'm mentally, I feel strong like right now because right now physically I feel very, very strong. Also mentally, also I feel very strong. So why not? Why we have to look for the age? No, there's no reason to look for that. But also I respect them. If they want to check like this, it's okay. But they have to look also basketball, football, tennis. How is the best player there? Why Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo still is there? Why Lewandowski still is there? You have look in the age of them. Why you don't look the age of them? That's why I want to tell the people to think about this one. That the age doesn't matter. You can be a good player even doing 40 years old.
You know, it's I think that's the main concern of everybody really is like, where is your heart with regards to the citizenship, right? I mean, is it just, as you said, the biggest issue that most people would have is that you're just going to take advantage of the system and use it for your personal benefit, right? Everybody wants to be able to see the betterment of Philippine football as a whole, right? If you come into the team, maybe somebody's slot is going to be taken away, but maybe your inclusion to the team would result to certain goals that would bring us further in the success of the team. So it's hard to quantify or predict exactly what the impact would be, but what people are interested in is to make sure that, why does Bienve want to play for the national team? I mean, if they see that you are genuine in your belief and in your intention, then that's all you can have, right? I mean, they can make their decision. I know personally myself, I want, it's difficult for me to be very open to liking Bienvenido Maranon. It's difficult for me because of all the heartache you have provided me. I'm from Kaya. Many games where Bienvenido is a problem. You go home, you're sleeping, you're thinking about Bienve and like the damage that he's done to you emotionally. So it's easy to think that maybe Bienve is trying to do something that is not beneficial to Philippine football. But hearing to you speak, it's genuine. I know where you're coming from, and it's a beautiful thing to understand exactly what you want and how you want to achieve it, and
also
the benefit that we might have.
Is one of the reasons also that for me I think it's good to become Filipino. That the reason that you say right now, you know me already. You know me already for many years. You know that I'm living here, that I play good, that you suffer because I play against your team. So that is good. You know me. And like Chris said before, there is many people who play NASCAR that even didn't live here for 3 months. So for me, one Filipino, maybe it's better to watch me playing in NASCAR because they see me every single game. They are suffering me in the games. They are watching in the TV and they see me. That bring one guy from out, just come with the NASCAR and then go again to his country. And he's not even in the Philippines. For me, that's one of the reasons. I respect that because if you are a Filipino, you are to play. If you are a Filipino and good player, you have to play with NASCAR. But in my situation, I'm living here already 5 years, and I think many people who play in NASCAR, they didn't live in Philippines even 1 year. So that is one of the reasons. The people in the Philippines know me because I play the league, I play this, and they know me. And many people of them, they don't know the people who come to NASCAR from abroad. And they are half Filipino, but they don't play here.
Correct.
But also there is another question. If I get the naturalization, the citizenship, if NASCAR don't want to me play with them, it's okay also. I will be saying happy. You know why? Because I will do my business. I will live here. I will do everything, only not play with NASCAR. I would like to play with NASCAR. But if I get the citizenship and I do the rest, I will be happy also. I don't need to play with NASCAR to be also happy because my intention is to live here. So to live here, to do my business, to get my easy life here. So if I play with NASCAR is one part of this. But if I don't get this one, the most important is to live here, to do my business here, to do all the rest here. If I play with NASCAR, it's okay. If no, I will continue living here. Don't mind that if I don't play with NASCAR, I don't be more involved in Philippines. No. If I get the citizenship and I can live here, I can sign already also.
Yeah, really interesting. And I think there's two things to that, what you said that I quite like. The main one really is, I think you're spot on with your assessment of how long you can play. I think you even said when you were talking about your own game, I mean, you're not like a sprinter, you're not a speedster, you're very reliant on your movement and your technical ability, you know, and your football intelligence is your most strongest asset. So that's not going to leave this year, next year, in 2 years' time. You can still do that. You can play that way, that style. You know, it's different if you're, you know, Michael Owen and you have to rely on your speed. Like once it's gone, and that's your game finished. You know, you're not like that. You know, your game is very different. So, you know, even, you know, I talking about like positions that coaches see, like I think maybe as you get older, I would even like to see you maybe you play a bit deeper. You know, maybe you become like a deep playmaker, you know, that type of role, because I think maybe you might also be good with in the build-up play. You know, you might have that kind of capability. So maybe as your legs maybe get a little bit older, like you said, but maybe you can adapt your game again, like you did when you first came here. Like that's something that I can also see you potentially doing, is maybe moving in a more a deep line playmaker type role. So I think you're right. You can play for a number of different years. But I think, yeah, it's lovely to hear you talk about your intentions and not just putting it all on the football side. It's also when there's other components that makes you want to have that citizenship. So I think a lot of people will listen to that portion of the interview, Jing, and be really, really happy to hear those words coming from you. That's a really wonderful thing, Bienve. The one question that I want to ask you though is, because we've established why you want to stay here, but I don't really know the full story of how you ended up here. So I know that Carly is the connection, but what I want to know is how did that transfer occur? Because I'm sure, you know, when you had the phone call and someone says, "Hey, do you want to move to the Philippines?" Most people go, "Philippines, you know, what's going on in the Philippines?" So I just want to know, how did that transfer to Ceres come about?
In that time, it was very hard and very difficult decision to come here. When Carly called me to come to the Philippines, normally you go right away to Google. You go to Google and you watch everything. You know, the news was very bad, talking about Philippines. Everything was like not really good. But Carly told to me about everything. Bienve, don't listen the news, because the news want to show you all the time the wars, and blah, blah, blah. Just come there, just try. If you don't like, you come back to Spain. There's no reason. And I say, okay, I go there. Then when I came here, everything that Carly told to me was right. So after that, I was feeling little by little better until now, 5 years, more than 5 years after, I feel like maybe Philippines is the country that I have to live. Not because I live in Spain, I live in good city, I have to live there. Normally, when I lived my first year, 60-year-old, when I told to you, when I transferred to Real Betis to move out from my house, there I changed my mind. After that, I moved to Madrid, to Murcia, to any place in Spain. I feel like right now, after maybe already is when I leave my house and I just go there for vacation, it's already 14 years old, 14 years ago. Mm-hmm. In this 14 years ago, I just go to my city just for vacation. 1 month, 2 months, then I transfer. Even if I play in Spain, even if I play in the Philippines. So that made me to think about, I don't have to live in Cadiz, in Spain, to be happy. I can live here also, because if you see my family here, my girlfriend, and you see me here, I'm happy living here. I'm so happy. And also, I told to you, I don't need to get the citizenship just to play football. Play football is okay. If I can play with Oscar, it's okay. But if not, I will be the same happy. I don't need to play with Oscar to be happy with the citizenship. I can get that one. I can do the rest. And then when I retire, I can work with them to try to go to the academic, to be a coach, to do something like involved in football.
What was it like when you first came here, Bienve? Like, obviously Carly would probably given you an idea of what it looked like being in the Philippines, but what were some of the first things that you noticed about being in the Philippines, not just on the football field, but also in where you lived here?
About my life, separate football, because all of the thing is involved in football. If you are thinking about go to the beach, is to rest, because you need to rest to come here to play football better. So everything I do here is involved in football. So I cannot tell you anything like it's a different, that because in Spain I do the same. Everything I do is depend on football, I do. But one of the best things that I like in the Philippines separate football is travel around the islands. For me, there's no money to pay also that one. The most I like is El Nido, because the town there is amazing. It's the proper Filipino living there. And then when you travel around the island, it's amazing. I travel, many of my team, or my teammates, they used to travel abroad. They go to China, they go to Japan when they have like 5 days off or 1 week off. Me and my girlfriend, all the time we travel around Philippines. I know already Siargao, El Nido, Coron, Bohol, Boracay, Cádiz, in Bacolod. I was traveling all my vacation, only travel around Philippines. So that made me to love more Philippines. That every time that I travel, every time I do something, was in the Philippines. I didn't go abroad. Maybe that thing is what make me to love Philippines right now.
Man, we've done over an hour of this conversation already, and it's amazing to be able to see your motivation and your behind this this next chapter, I suppose, of your career here in the Philippines. But there's one thing that perhaps we didn't get a chance to talk about that I really wanted to ask you, and one thing that is quite easy to see when you're playing is that you always look calm, right? You're taking a penalty, game is on the line.
Me, I didn't listen you.
Here. So my question is that when we watch you play, you always look very calm. Game is on the line. You have to take a penalty. Bienvenido never looks like he's nervous. What is it that you do that makes you so strong mentally? Is there anything that you do? Meditation, something? I don't know. What is there something that you do to prepare yourself to be so strong mentally?
I normally eat properly, rest properly, and do meditation before the game. Normally, I get my mat, I put in the floor, I turn off everything, the aircon, the light, everything. I put the nature song. So that made me to think just facing up, and just thinking about what I have to do, what I have not to do. If I make a mistake, it's okay. I just have to give my 100%. And I take football like this. When I go there, I don't get nervous. Also because the experience, after play many games, maybe you gain experience. But the principal things is when you go inside the pitch, you give your 100%. Anything can happen after that. It's not up to you. Why? Because you give your 100%. It's like in your job. If you give your 100%, you cannot be sad. Why? Because you are doing your best. You cannot do something better. No. You do your best. You cannot do anything else. So you can get nervous, or you can get frustrated, and you can get sad when you don't give to your 100%. If you will give 99, of course you won't be happy, and you will be sad, and you will be stressed. But if you give your 100%, the rest doesn't matter. You have to give your 100%, do whatever you have to do, but do everything right. And then you can win, you can lose, you can miss a penalty, you can score a penalty, you can score a goal, you can do everything, but always with your 100%. That's why I'm very quiet in my house. I'm playing football because I'm doing the best for myself, and I hope, Feli, that this one is the best for the team also.
Awesome.
But it's important. The meditation is very important. If you want to be quiet, you have to do meditation. Eat properly, because when you have to play football, you have to feel your body good, and rest. You have to get your 8 hours sleeping, and if the game is at the night, you have to leave 30 minutes the nap, and then everything is good. The meditation, of course, the meditation is very important, to be quiet with yourself.
You know what I like about this, Jingen, is even we're talking about the level that we're at here in the Philippines, and I think the lockdown, and we've alluded to this in our conversations about how, you know, how a team's going to stack up, because obviously there's been a long period where they're off. And I'm looking at some of the guys when they've gone back to training, just in the small snippets that you see in the videos, some clips and photographs, whatever that might be. And I can see the guys who've had a very good lockdown period. You know, I'm looking at their faces, and they've had one too many chocolate bars. They've been drinking too many beers. You know, they've had an indulgent, 6 months or whatever, and they've used this as a vacation time. You know, one thing that I am quite worried about for everyone else, and I actually said this in our interview, Jing, if you recall, I think the Series now, the UCFC guys, they're pros. You know, they're really professional. You know, you're talking about him there, you know, the lengths he takes to prepare himself for the game. And now we're not talking about someone who's of average ability and he's trying to get a little bit more out of his game. We're talking about someone who is already arguably one of the best players in the league. He's still trying to get that extra 5%, 10%, and he's doing whatever it takes to do that. You know, I'm looking at guys with half of his ability, with half as much, again, you know, willingness to prepare properly. That's what I think is ominous for everyone in the league right now. And I'm talking about this completely from a neutral standpoint, you know, like, and you're not the exception. There are other guys on your team, Bienve, who I know are doing whatever it takes to get themselves in the right frame of mind. So I think that's quite scary what he said there. I think that's quite scary that someone of his ability is still preparing himself in the manner that he has done. You know, he talks about going on vacation so he's getting enough rest so he can perform at his optimum ability. I'm worried that a lot of the guys have been on vacation so they can have fun on their vacation, and then they're going to use this 1 month window where they think they're going to get themselves fit. If that's going to be the case, Jing, and we said this on our podcast, it's going to take them a month to get into it, and by that time their team's going to be 10 points ahead, 12 points ahead. It's going to be too late. So yeah. I'm a bit nervous about this, Bienve. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, the way in which you're talking is definitely making a lot of teams, question where they are in their preparation. Because my feeling is this, Jing, is that a lot of those boys, they don't switch off. You know, they don't have a vacation. There's no off switch. They're always on. So hearing him say that, I think, is quite ominous for everyone around the league, if you want my honest opinion. I don't know how you feel about this, Jing.
Scary for the opposition, but, you know, motivating for those that are looking to get into the league. Lucky for those that are young and listening to this and knowing that somebody of Bienve's stature is doing everything it takes to get to the next level, to make himself a little bit better. And I think that's exactly what the mindset should be for everyone who's trying to get into the game. You know, you got to learn from the best in your area. As Bienve said, you should be studying the people who are in your vicinity, in your league. And Bienve is one of the standouts. And, you know, there would be much benefit for people to look at him and see what he does well and incorporate it into their lifestyle. So amazing, man. It's hard not to like you, Bienve, which is, you know, I don't know. As a Kaya fan, this is going to be a weird thing for me watching you play against us.
Yeah, don't worry. You know, right now, this will be the difference. What I told to you. You can feel right away who is the guys who was training in the lockdown and who no. The league this season will be different. I think the quality and the performance that we did before doesn't matter for this season. So let's see who is the team who training better in this lockdown. This is a good league to start this season.
And we're all very excited to see it transpire. And as you said, hopefully 15 days from now, we'll have our first matches of 2020. It's been tremendous having you on the show, Bienve. Really enjoyed being able to speak with you and getting to know you much better. And hopefully the listening experience for those tuned into this, they can say the same.
Okay, thank you guys. For me, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. Thank you for inviting me, because it's a good time that we spend here. And also, I think it's good for the people to listen us talk about football, about everything. And if they have some doubts about me, only have to ask. Honestly, I like to talk about everything. I don't hide anything. For me, if I have to talk with something important or something that is important for me, it's okay. This life, this football it's okay. We have to talk. We don't have to hide nothing. For what? You have to hide everything. Just we talk about football with Chris, that he knows many things about football, how is especially football in the Philippines. and I think we spend a good time together.
Yeah, thanks, Bienve. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm sure the listeners, the viewers will enjoy it. And I'm just quite taken aback with how sort of Filipino you are. I'm trying to find a different way of saying it. But yeah, I mean, very, in terms of your integration with the society, you know, how you've really enjoyed going to visit the different parts of the country and your sort of feeling for being Filipino. I think although you haven't got the passport yet, although you haven't got the documentation there, I think you seem and you come across as being Filipino in your heart. And I think that was for me, very warming and very positive to hear you talk about that. And I'm sure a lot of people who listen and watch this will get that feeling too. So I thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that, Bienve.
Okay, thank you so much, my friend.
He's on Twitter and on Instagram. Reach out to Bienvenido Maranon on social media, and you can do the same with us. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Find us there. It's Across the Line, and subscribe on YouTube, at Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. Just type in Across the Line. That's it for this Football Friday with Bienvenido Maranon. We will catch you next week.